In my first life, I was a man who believed in shared futures and whispered promises. My world was built on the foundation of my marriage to Sarah, a structure I thought was made of stone, but turned out to be nothing more than smoke. My rival wasn't a business competitor or a long-lost brother. He was a man named Jake, whose expensive cologne and gold watch became the symbols of my undoing. I died not with a bang, but with the quiet, soul-crushing discovery of his clothes hanging in my closet, a silent testament to a betrayal that had been living in my home all along. The men's leather jacket hanging in my closet still reeks of cologne I've never worn. Expensive stuff, the kind that costs more than I make in a week. It's a Tom Ford blend, I think. Something musky and arrogant that clings to the air like a bad memory. The size is XL, a fact that would be comical if it weren't so devastating. It dwarfs my medium frame, a constant physical reminder of the man who has been occupying my space, my life, my wife. I run my hand over the soft leather, my fingers brushing against the inner pocket. There, embossed in gold, are the initials J.R. Jake. Of course it's him. Jake Reeves. My stomach drops like an elevator with cut cables, plummeting into a cold, dark abyss. The shock is a physical force, knocking the wind from my lungs. I stumble back, my hand flying to my mouth to stifle the gasp that threatens to escape. It's not just the jacket. Tucked neatly on the shelf below are a pair of boxer briefs, folded with a precision that is distinctly Sarah's, but they are most certainly not mine. They're a garish pattern of palm trees and sunsets, a stark contrast to my own plain grays and blacks. And beside them, nestled in a velvet box I've never seen before, is a gold watch. I recognize it instantly. It's the one Sarah has been featuring in her Instagram posts from her work conferences, the ones she always claimed were so draining, so demanding. The watch glints under the dim closet light, a mocking testament to her lies. A cold rage begins to seep into the numbness, replacing the shock. It's not the messy, theatrical grief I might have expected, the kind you see in movies where the betrayed husband smashes things and screams into the uncaring night. This is different. It's sharp and focused, like a surgeon's blade, clean and precise. It's an anger that clarifies rather than confuses, honing my thoughts to a single, sharp point. The world, which had been a soft focus blur of love and trust, is now a high-definition landscape of betrayal and calculated revenge. Every detail is crisp, every motivation laid bare. She didn't just cheat. She brought him into our home, into our most intimate space. She dressed him in my absence and, I now realize, undressed him in my presence, hiding him in plain sight. My phone buzzes on the nightstand, and I snatch it up. The screen displays a calendar alert. Divorce filing, 9 a.m. Sarah's name is next to it. She thinks she's filing in secret, that I'm still the oblivious, loving husband she left behind this morning with a kiss on the cheek and a promise to be home late. The courthouse appointment is tomorrow. That gives me exactly 16 hours. 16 hours to dismantle the life she's trying to steal from me, to turn her meticulously planned escape into a trap of her own making. The timer has started, and for the first time in what feels like months, I am not the one who is running out of time. She is. Another notification pops up, this one from my banking app. A joint account alert, a withdrawal of $15,000 processed just 2 hours ago. The blood in my veins turns to ice. She's not just leaving me, she's gutting me. She's taking our money, the money we saved together, the down payment for the bigger house we were supposed to buy, the future we were supposed to build. She's already moving our assets, liquidating our shared life to fund her new one with him. The rage intensifies. But it remains cold, controlled. This isn't just about a broken heart anymore. This is about survival. This is war. And in war, the first casualty is mercy. My hands are steady as I pull out my phone again. The initial tremor of shock has subsided, replaced by a chilling sense of purpose. I photograph every piece of evidence with methodical precision. The jacket, paying close attention to the JR initials, the boxer briefs, their ridiculous pattern a stark symbol of her disrespect, the gold watch, making sure the timestamp on my phone's camera is visible. Each click of the virtual shutter is a nail in the coffin of her plan. I upload the images to a secure cloud server, creating a digital fortress for my ammunition. She has no idea what's coming. She thinks I'm at home, wallowing in a puddle of self-pity, mourning the end of our love story. She doesn't know that I'm already scripting the beginning of her downfall. With the evidence secured, I dial the number on the back of my debit card, the bank's fraud hotline. The automated voice prompts are a tedious obstacle, a series of robotic hurdles I have to clear to get to a human. Finally, a woman's voice, tired and professional, answers. First National Bank, Fraud Department. My name is Carol. How can I help you? Hello, Carol. My name is Marcus Chen. I'm calling to report unauthorized access to my account. I give her the account number, the one Sarah and I share, the one that's supposed to be our lifeline. Okay, Mr. Chen, I see the account here. Can you tell me what the suspicious activity is? My wife just withdrew $15,000 without my consent. The transaction was made about 2 hours ago. I keep my voice even, devoid of the emotion churning in my gut. This is a business transaction now, a formal complaint. There's a pause on the other end, the soft clicking of a keyboard. Sir, I see the withdrawal you're referring to. However, both your name and Sarah Chen's name are on the account. She is an authorized user. I understand that, I say, my voice tightening despite my best efforts. But I believe the signature on the withdrawal slip was forged. Forged? Carol's voice sharpens with interest. Can you elaborate, sir? Check the signature card you have on file for her. Compare it to the signature on this withdrawal. I guarantee you they won't match. She has a very distinct way of signing her name. And when she's in a hurry, it's even more so. This wasn't just a quick trip to the ATM. This was a deliberate act of theft. Another pause, longer this time. I can hear the faint sound of her breathing, the hum of the call center in the background. My heart pounds against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the silence. This is the first move, the opening gambit in a game I never wanted to play. Everything hinges on this. Mr. Chen, Carol says, her voice now grave, I've pulled up the digital image of the withdrawal slip. You're right. The signature is significantly different from the one we have on file. It's close, but it's not hers. It's cleaner, more deliberate. A sliver of grim satisfaction cuts through the tension. I knew it. In her haste to escape, she got sloppy. Or perhaps Jake signed it for her, his arrogance making him believe he could mimic her hand. It doesn't matter. The result is the same. But that's not all, sir, Carol continues, and the tone of her voice sends a fresh wave of ice through my veins. While I was looking at the recent activity, I noticed a pattern. There have been several large transfers out of this account over the past 3 months, all of them going to the same external account, one that isn't in your name or your wife's. The revelation hits me like a sledgehammer. It's not just the 15 grand, it's more. Much more. She's been systematically draining our savings, our lifeblood for months, bleeding me dry while I was busy loving her, trusting her, planning our future. The room starts to spin, the walls closing in. I grip the edge of the dresser, my knuckles turning white. How much? I manage to choke out, the words catching in my throat. I'm still calculating, Mr. Chen, but it appears to be over $60,000. $60,000. The number hangs in the air, a monument to my own stupidity. How could I have been so blind? The extra hours she was working, the bonuses she claimed to be getting, the sudden need for separate accounts for her freelance work. It all clicks into place, a sickening mosaic of deceit. Mr. Chen, based on your claim and the evidence I'm seeing, I'm initiating a full fraud investigation. As per our protocol, all assets in this account and any associated accounts linked to these suspicious transfers will be frozen immediately, pending the outcome of the investigation. That includes the external account the money was being transferred to. My breath catches. Frozen. All of it. Her escape money, the 60 grand she's been siphoning off, the 15 she just took, it's all trapped. Trapped in legal limbo, inaccessible to her, to anyone, until this is sorted out. The freeze is effective immediately, Carol confirms, as if reading my mind. A formal notification will be sent to the address on file. You'll need to come into a branch tomorrow with 2 forms of ID to sign the official affidavit. But for now, nothing can be withdrawn or transferred from any of these accounts. Thank you, Carol, I say, my voice hoarse. Thank you. I hang up the phone, my hand shaking now, the adrenaline finally catching up with me. I stumble over to the window and look out at the quiet suburban street, the setting sun casting long shadows across the manicured lawns. Sarah is out there somewhere, thinking she's free, thinking she's won. She has no idea that I've just cut the strings to her parachute. She's in free fall, and she doesn't even know it yet. The rage is still there, a cold, hard knot in my chest, but now it's mixed with something else. A dark, exhilarating sense of power. I've taken her weapon, our money, and turned it against her. The 16-hour clock is still ticking, but the dynamics of the game have fundamentally changed. I'm no longer the victim. I'm the architect of her ruin. The coffee shop is one of those trendy, minimalist places with exposed brick and uncomfortable wooden chairs. I hate it. Sarah loves it. She used to drag me here on Saturday mornings, praising their ethically sourced beans and artisanal pastries. Now, it's my observation post. From the window seat, I have a clear, unobstructed view of our house across the street. The house that was supposed to be our sanctuary, now the scene of the crime. I sip my black coffee, the bitter taste a perfect match for the mood in my soul. I've been here for an hour, watching, waiting, and then I see it. A sleek, black BMW pulls into our driveway, Jake's car. The sight of it, so brazenly parked where my own car should be, sends a fresh surge of venom through my veins. The passenger door opens, and Sarah gets out. Even from this distance, I can see the tension in her shoulders, the frantic energy in her movements. She's wearing Jake's leather jacket, the one from my closet, draped over her shoulders like a trophy, a flag planted on conquered territory. She's on her phone, pacing back and forth on the lawn, her free hand gesturing wildly. A few moments later, the front door of our house opens, and Jake emerges. He's tall, handsome in that generic salesman kind of way, all perfect teeth and confident swagger. He starts carrying boxes out of the house, loading them into the trunk of his car. My boxes. My life. They're moving her out, trying to get her clear before I get home, before I can stop her. They think they're being clever, discreet. They have no idea I'm watching their every move. Her phone call must have been to the bank. She's discovered the freeze, the frantic pacing, the hurried packing. It's not just an escape, it's a panic move. Her escape plan has hit a snag, and she's scrambling. I take another sip of coffee, a slow, deliberate movement. Let her sweat. Let her wonder what's gone wrong. The fear will make her careless. After they've loaded a half-dozen boxes, Jake gets back in the car, and Sarah leans in through the driver's side window, kissing him. It's a long, passionate kiss, a final act of defiance right on my front lawn. He drives away, and she turns back to the house, her shoulders slumped in defeat. She knows she's trapped. She just doesn't know why. Now is the time. I pull out my phone and dial her number. It rings once, twice, then she picks up, her voice a mixture of frustration and anxiety. "Marcus? Where are you? I've been trying to call you." "I know," I say, my voice calm, almost conversational. "I've been busy." "Busy? Marcus, something's wrong with our accounts. I went to the bank, and they said everything is frozen. They wouldn't tell me why. Did you do something?" I let the silence hang in the air for a moment, savoring the sound of her rising panic. "Having trouble at the bank, sweetheart?" I say, the endearment dripping with sarcasm. "Funny how that works. I called them about that $15,000 withdrawal. They seem to think the signature was suspicious. They're launching a full investigation." "What? You told them I forged it? Marcus, how could you?" "How could I?" The question is so absurd, so audacious, that I almost laugh. "You're the one who's been stealing from me for months, Sarah. You and your boyfriend. Did you really think I wouldn't find out?" There's a sharp intake of breath on the other end of the line. She's stunned. She thought she was so much smarter than me. "Marcus, please, you don't understand. We need to talk, face to face. Where are you?" "Oh, I think I understand perfectly," I say, my eyes fixed on her form across the street. I can see her through the window, her hand pressed to her forehead as if trying to ward off a migraine. "I understand that you thought you could just walk away with my money, my life, and leave me with nothing. I understand that you're a thief and a liar. And as for talking, I think we're way past that." "What do you want, Marcus? Money? Is that what this is about?" "What I want," I say, my voice dropping to a low, dangerous whisper, "is for you to feel a fraction of the pain you've caused me. What I want is justice. So here's the deal. You have until midnight. You can agree to a clean divorce, no alimony, no assets. You walk away with nothing but the clothes on your back and the debt you've racked up. Or, option 2, I send Jake's wife everything I found. The photos of his jacket in my closet, the watch, the boxer briefs. I'll even throw in the details of the secret bank account you've been funneling our money into. I'm sure she'd be very interested to know where her husband has been spending his time, and his money." Silence. Complete and utter silence. I watch her through the window of the coffee shop, my heart pounding a slow, steady rhythm of triumph. She freezes mid-step, her phone still pressed to her ear. Her face, even from this distance, is a mask of horror. I've hit her where it hurts. Not in her heart, I doubt she has one, but in her carefully constructed new life. She knows that if Jake's wife finds out, her perfect escape will be ruined. His money, his connections, the life she's been dreaming of, it will all go up in smoke. The warm afternoon sun streams through the window, falling across my face, but the satisfaction spreading through my chest is ice cold. It's a chilling, exhilarating feeling, this newfound power. I've always been the nice guy, the one who compromises, the one who avoids conflict. Sarah counted on that. She counted on me to be weak, to be heartbroken, to be a victim. She never imagined that I could be this ruthless, this calculating. She underestimated me, and that is a mistake she will live to regret. "Midnight, Sarah," I say, my voice a final, unyielding command. "The choice is yours." I hang up before she can respond, leaving her to stew in the poison I've just administered. I take one last look at her, a solitary figure in a house that is no longer her home. And then I stand up, leaving my half-empty cup of coffee on the table. The war is far from over, but I have just won a major battle. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I might actually survive. The victory is a bitter pill. The satisfaction a fleeting ghost. The ultimatum I delivered to Sarah gives me a sense of control. But it's a fragile one, built on the shifting sands of her fear. I know her. She's a cornered animal, and cornered animals are unpredictable. They lash out. I need more than just threats. I need a fortress. That's why Elena is here. She's sitting across from me in a quiet, dimly lit bar, the kind of place where secrets are traded over expensive whiskey. Elena has been my best friend since college, a sharp-witted, no-nonsense lawyer who has seen me through every crisis in my adult life. When I called her, my voice cracking with the raw shock of my discovery, she didn't offer platitudes or sympathy. She offered a plan. "A private investigator?" I'd asked, the words feeling foreign and dramatic on my tongue. "Isn't that a bit much?" "Is having your life savings stolen and your marriage imploded a bit much?" she'd retorted. "Marcus, you're in a fight for your life. You need to know exactly who you're fighting." So, I agreed. And now, the investigator's report sits on the table between us, a plain manila folder that feels heavier than a block of concrete. Elena slides it toward me, her expression grim. "He dug up some interesting things, Marcus. Things you need to see." My hand trembles slightly as I open the folder. The first few pages are what I expected. Photos of Sarah and Jake together, holding hands in a park, kissing outside a fancy restaurant, entering a hotel. Each image is a fresh stab to the heart, but it's a pain I've already begun to process. It's the later pages that make the world tilt on its axis. They're financial documents, loan applications, mortgage agreements, bank statements. My name is on them. My signature, or a disturbingly accurate forgery of it, is on them. They're for properties I've never heard of, in towns I've never visited. There are 18 of them, 18 fake mortgage applications, all using my good credit, my stable income, my identity as collateral. "What is this?" I whisper, my voice barely audible. "It's a mortgage fraud scheme," Elena says, her voice low and steady. "A pretty sophisticated one. Jake finds distressed properties, uses your identity to secure a fraudulent loan to buy them, then flips them for a quick profit. He's been washing the money through a series of shell corporations. And Sarah has been helping him." The air leaves my lungs in a rush. This isn't just an affair. It's not just about stolen money. It's a federal crime, and I'm in the middle of it. My mind races trying to connect the dots. The late nights Sarah spent working. The endless stacks of papers she always had on her desk. The vague, evasive answers she gave when I asked what she was so busy with. It all makes a sick kind of sense now. "They've been using our marriage as a cover," Elena continues, her legal mind dissecting the scheme with cold precision. "Your stable job, your clean financial history, you were the perfect front. He was the operator, and she was the inside woman. She had access to all your personal information, your social security number, your bank details, everything he needed." A wave of nausea washes over me. I wasn't just betrayed, I was used. I was a tool, a means to an end. My love, my trust, the life I thought we were building. It was all just collateral for their criminal enterprise. "The worst part, Marcus," Elena says, her eyes filled with a mixture of pity and steel, "is that as far as the law is concerned, you're an accomplice. Your name is on everything. If this goes south, you could be facing federal charges right alongside them." The floor drops out from under me. The game has changed again. The stakes escalating to a level I never could have imagined. This is no longer about a divorce, about getting my money back. This is about my freedom, my future. Everything I have worked for, everything I am, is on the line. I could go to prison for something I didn't even know was happening. The image of a jail cell, cold and gray and suffocating, flashes in my mind. The fear is a physical thing, a cold hand gripping my throat. For a moment, I'm paralyzed. The weight of it all is crushing. Sarah's betrayal, Jake's criminality, the looming threat of a federal indictment. It's too much. I want to curl up into a ball and disappear. I want to go back to yesterday, to the blissful ignorance of my first life, but then the anger returns. Not the hot, messy anger of a wounded man, but the cold, focused rage that has become my new companion. They will not do this to me. They will not destroy my life and walk away scot-free. I will not be their scapegoat. What do I do? I ask Elena, my voice regaining some of its strength. She leans forward, her eyes locked on mine. You have two choices. You can wait for them to get caught and hope you can convince a jury that you were an innocent victim. Or you can get ahead of it. You can become the whistleblower. The word hangs in the air between us, charged with danger and possibility. The whistleblower, the one who exposes the whole rotten scheme. If you go to the authorities now, with this evidence, Elena explains, you can position yourself as a cooperating witness. You can offer them everything you know, everything the investigator found. It's risky. They might still see you as a suspect, but it's your best shot at getting immunity. My mind is racing. The FBI? Federal agents. This is the stuff of movies, of newspaper headlines. It's not supposed to be my life, but it is. And I have to make a choice. Do I play defense, or do I go on the offensive? I look down at the folder, at the damning evidence of their crimes. I think of Sarah's face, her easy lies, her casual cruelty. I think of Jake, his smug smile and his stolen life, and I know what I have to do. I will not be a victim. I will not be a pawn in their game. I will be the one who burns it all to the ground. I pull out my phone, my fingers moving with a newfound certainty. I open a new browser window and type in the search terms, FBI Financial Crimes Unit. The first result is a link to their official website, with a phone number for their tip line. By tomorrow night, I say to Elena, my voice a low, determined growl, I'll either be facing federal charges as Sarah's accomplice, or I'll be walking away as the man who exposed their entire operation. There's no time for self-pity, no time for hesitation. The stakes are too high. I'm already speed dialing the number. The cool, dispassionate voice of the operator who answers is the sound of my old life ending, and a new, uncertain future beginning. I take a deep breath and begin to speak, the words a declaration of war against the people who tried to destroy me. My name is Marcus Chen, I say, and I have information about a major mortgage fraud operation. The game is no longer about winning back what I've lost. It's about not losing what I have left. My freedom, my name, my future. And I will fight for it with everything I have. The house is eerily quiet when I let myself in. The boxes are gone from the hallway, a clear sign that Sarah has made her choice. She's not taking my deal. She's running. But there's nowhere for her to run to now. The locks on our accounts are a cage she can't see, and the FBI investigation is a net that is slowly, inexorably, closing in around her. I find her in our bedroom, the room that was once our sanctuary, now a battleground littered with the debris of our shattered life. She's standing in front of her vanity, frantically swiping through her phone, her face pale and drawn in the soft lamplight. She looks up as I enter, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and defiance. "Marcus," she says, her voice a strained whisper. "What have you done?" I don't answer her. Instead, I walk over to her vanity and dump the contents of the PI's folder onto the polished wood surface. The photos, the bank statements, the fraudulent loan applications, They scatter across the tabletop, a cascade of damning evidence that covers her expensive makeup and perfumes like a layer of filth. 18, I say, my voice cold and flat. 18 fake mortgage applications, Sarah. All in my name. She stares at the papers, her eyes darting from one incriminating document to the next. For a moment, she's speechless, her carefully constructed facade crumbling before my eyes. But then, the defiance returns, a desperate, last-ditch effort to salvage her lies. I don't know what this is, she says, her voice trembling slightly. You're insane. I never signed anything like that. Didn't you? I pick up one of the loan documents, my forged signature a stark black line at the bottom of the page. Then explain this. Explain why your signature appears as a witness on loan documents for houses you've never seen, in cities you've never been to. Explain the $60,000 you funneled into a secret account. Explain the lies, Sarah. Explain all of it. Tears well up in her eyes, but I know they're not tears of remorse. They're tears of frustration, of a liar who has finally been caught. Marcus, please, she sobs, her voice breaking. You have to believe me, Jake. He said it was just paperwork. He said it was a way to help people, to get them into homes they couldn't afford. He told me it was legal. The third revelation shatters the last vestiges of my pity. It's a truth so obvious, so painfully clear, that I can't believe I didn't see it before. Jake isn't just some random affair, some charming rogue who swept my wife off her feet. He's a predator, a career criminal who saw Sarah not as a lover, but as a mark. He saw her dissatisfaction, her ambition, her yearning for a life more glamorous than the one we had, and he exploited it. He fed her a fantasy, a story of wealth and excitement, and she swallowed it whole, too blinded by his attention, by the promise of a new life, to see the truth. He's been using her to legitimize his money laundering operation, and she's been his willing, if ignorant, accomplice. He played you, Sarah, I say, the words devoid of any sympathy. He saw you coming a mile away. You were his ticket to a clean record, a way to make his dirty money look legitimate. And you were so desperate for a way out of our life, so eager to believe his lies that you let him. The truth hits her like a physical blow. She stumbles back, her hand flying to her mouth, a look of dawning horror on her face. The tears are real now, hot and bitter tears of a fool who has finally realized she's been had. She wasn't his partner, she was his pawn. And now the game is over, and she's about to be sacrificed. No, she whispers, shaking her head in disbelief. No, he loves me. We were going to start a new life together. A new life built on my stolen money and my ruined name? I let out a harsh, bitter laugh. You really are a fool, Sarah. He was never going to leave his wife for you. He was never going to give you the life he promised. He was just going to use you up and throw you away. The sound of sirens in the distance cuts through the tense silence of the room. They're faint at first, a low, mournful wail, but they're getting closer, louder. I look at my watch. It's almost 10 p.m. The FBI is early. Sarah hears them too. Her head snaps up, her eyes wide with terror. What is that? That, I say, my voice a grim finality, is the sound of your new life, Sarah, the one you chose. The sirens are deafening now, the flashing red and blue lights painting the walls of our bedroom in a chaotic, terrifying strobe. There are shouts from outside, the sound of heavy footsteps on our lawn, a loud, authoritative knock on our front door. FBI, open up! Sarah lets out a small, strangled cry, a sound of pure, unadulterated fear. She looks at me, her eyes pleading, searching for an escape that no longer exists. But there is no pity in my heart, no mercy left to give. She made her bed, and now she must lie in it. The federal task force raid that will either vindicate me or destroy us both is no longer hours away. It's here. And as the front door splinters open under the force of a battering ram, I know that my life and hers will never be the same. The quiet suburban street that was once our home has become a war zone, and the battle for my future is about to reach its bloody, inevitable conclusion. The federal courthouse is a sterile, imposing monument to justice, all polished marble and hushed whispers. The air is thick with the scent of old paper and anxiety. It's a world away from the life I knew just days ago, a life of suburban comfort and quiet love. Now it's my battlefield. I sit at the prosecution's table, a cooperating witness in the case against my own wife. Across the room at the defendant's table sits Sarah. She's wearing a drab, ill-fitting prison jumpsuit, her wrists bound by handcuffs. Her once perfect hair is a mess, her face pale and devoid of makeup. She looks small, broken, a ghost of the vibrant, confident woman I married. Flanking her are two stoic FBI agents, their faces impassive masks. Beside her, in a separate but equally grim tableau, is Jake. He's traded his expensive suits for the same orange jumpsuit, his confident swagger replaced by a sullen, resentful scowl. He refuses to look at me, his eyes fixed on some distant point on the far wall, as if he can will himself invisible. The courtroom is packed. Reporters, lawyers, federal agents, all here to witness the downfall of a surprisingly prolific mortgage fraud ring. And I, Marcus Chen, the cuckolded husband, the unsuspecting victim, am the star witness. Your Honor, Sarah's lawyer, a slick, overpaid man in a tailored suit, pleads, his voice echoing in the cavernous room. My client, Miss Chen, was manipulated. She was a victim of Jacob Reeves's predatory charm and criminal influence. She was in love, Your Honor, and love made her blind. Mr. Chen here, he gestures toward me, has provided extensive evidence of his wife's involvement, yes, but this evidence also shows that she was merely a pawn in Mr. Reeves's much larger game. He's good, I'll give him that. He's painting a picture of a naive, love-struck woman who was led astray by a master manipulator. He's trying to shift the blame, to minimize her sentence, to make me look like a scorned husband seeking revenge rather than a citizen seeking justice, but I will not let him. The prosecutor calls my name, and I walk to the witness stand, my footsteps echoing on the marble floor. I swear the oath, my hand on the Bible, my eyes locked on Sarah. She won't meet my gaze. The prosecutor leads me through my testimony, my voice steady and clear as I recount the discovery of Jake's clothes, the fraudulent withdrawal, the mountain of fake loan documents. I am calm, factual, detached. I am the victim, the whistleblower. This is the role I must play. But then Sarah's lawyer stands up for his cross-examination. Mr. Chen, he begins, his voice oozing a false sympathy. You paint a picture of a complete surprise, a sudden and shocking discovery. But surely you must have noticed something was amiss. The late nights, the extra money, the constant talk of deals and investments. Did you never once question where it was all coming from? I trusted my wife, I say, my voice tight. I had no reason to believe she was capable of such deception. No reason? Or did you perhaps have a reason to look the other way? A reason to enjoy the fruits of her labor without asking too many questions? Objection, the prosecutor calls out. Counsel is badgering the witness. Sustained, Judge Harrison says, his voice a low growl. Get to the point, counselor. The lawyer smirks, a predator who has tasted blood. He turns back to me. Mr. Chen, Isn't it true that you were unhappy in your marriage? That you felt your wife was out of your league? That you were insecure about her ambition, her success? I see his strategy now. He's trying to discredit me, to paint me as a jealous, controlling husband who is fabricating a story to punish his wife for leaving him. The anger I've kept so carefully in check begins to simmer. I will not let him twist this. I will not let them turn me into the villain of this story. Objection, I interrupt, my voice ringing out in the silent courtroom, my own legal counsel forgotten. All eyes turn to me. That's not what this is about. This is about the law. The judge looks at me, his eyebrows raised in surprise. Mr. Chen, you are a witness, not an attorney. With all due respect, Your Honor, I say, my voice gaining strength. My character is not on trial here. My wife's is. She knew exactly what she was doing when she forged my signature on those loan documents. She knew it was illegal, and she did it anyway. That's not true, Sarah screams from the defendant's table, her voice a raw, desperate cry. She's on her feet now, the handcuffs glinting under the courtroom lights. The FBI agents on either side of her restrain her, but her eyes are locked on me, blazing with a furious, cornered desperation. That's not true. Jake told me it was legal. He said we were just helping people get homes. Her outburst is a gift. Her desperate attempt to deflect blame has only served to confirm her involvement. The courtroom erupts in a low murmur of voices. Judge Harrison bangs his gavel, his face a thunderous scowl. Order! Order in the court! Miss Chen, you will be silent or I will have you removed. But I'm not done. I have one more card to play. One final piece of evidence that will seal her fate, and his. Then why did you open 7 different bank accounts under fake names, Sarah? I ask, my voice cutting through the chaos. I turn to the prosecutor and nod. He understands. He pulls a small, plastic evidence bag from his briefcase and places it on the table in front of the judge. Your Honor, the prosecutor says, this is a burner phone recovered from Mr. Reeves's vehicle. It contains every text message he and Miss Chen exchanged over the past 6 months. A collective gasp ripples through the courtroom. I watch as the color drains from Sarah's face. She knows what's on that phone. The messages plotting their escape, the details of their financial crimes, and, most damning of all, their plan to frame me as the mastermind if they ever got caught. The judge looks at the phone, then at Sarah, then at Jake. His expression is one of utter contempt. He doesn't even need to read the messages. He's seen enough. He bangs his gavel one last time, the sound a sharp, final crack that echoes the breaking of my old life. In light of this new evidence and the testimony provided, this court finds the defendants, Sarah Chen and Jacob Reeves, guilty on all counts. The words are a sweet, sweet relief, a vindication that washes over me like a cleansing wave. It's over. I'm free. The judge delivers the sentences with a grim finality. Jake gets 15 years in a federal penitentiary. Sarah, because of her lesser role and her lack of a prior record, gets 5. 5 years. It's not enough for what she did to me, for the life she tried to steal, but it's something. It's justice. As the agents lead her away, her head bowed in defeat, she stops and turns to look at me one last time. There are no tears in her eyes now, only a cold, reptilian hatred. You think you've won, don't you, Marcus? She says, her voice a low, venomous hiss that only I can hear. I don't answer. I just stare at her, the woman who was once the center of my world, now a stranger in a prison jumpsuit. You want to know the truth, Marcus? She sneers, a cruel, twisted smile playing on her lips. Your precious father, the man you worshipped, he was a liar too. He left you more than just this house. You want to know what you've really inherited? Check safety deposit box 247 at our bank. And then, she's gone, leaving her final, cryptic words hanging in the air like a poisonous vapor. A new mystery, a new secret, a final, parting shot from the woman who tried to destroy me. The trial may be over, but I have a sinking feeling that the story is not. Sarah's last words haunt me for weeks. Check safety deposit box 247. It's a poisoned arrow, a final, desperate attempt to wound me, to tarnish the memory of the one person I thought I could always trust, my father. He'd been gone for 5 years, a victim of a sudden heart attack that had left a gaping hole in my life. He was my hero, a man of quiet integrity and unwavering principle. The idea that he was a liar, that he had secrets, is a betrayal almost as deep as Sarah's. For a while, I try to ignore it. I try to convince myself that it's just another one of her lies, a final, desperate act of cruelty. But the words are a splinter in my mind, a nagging, persistent itch that I can't scratch. Finally, unable to bear the uncertainty any longer, I go to the bank. The safety deposit box is under my father's name, with me listed as the sole beneficiary. The key, it turns out, was in a small, sealed envelope at the back of his old desk, an envelope I'd never had a reason to open. The bank manager, a portly, balding man named Mr. Henderson, who has known my family for years, leads me to the vault. The air is cool and still, the silence broken only by the sound of our footsteps on the polished floor and the soft, mechanical click of the tumblers as he opens the box. He slides the long metal container out and places it on a small, private viewing table, then leaves me alone with my father's secrets. My heart is pounding, my hands slick with sweat. I don't know what I expect to find. Unpaid debts? Evidence of an affair? Something that will shatter the image of the man I thought I knew? I lift the lid. The box is filled with documents. Not scandalous letters or incriminating photos, but deeds. Property deeds. Dozens of them. Commercial buildings in the city, apartment complexes in the suburbs, a small shopping center on the coast. And with them, a series of LLCs, bank statements, and a handwritten letter addressed to me. My dearest Marcus, the letter begins, my father's familiar, elegant script a comforting sight in this cold, sterile room. If you are reading this, it means I am gone, and that you have found yourself in a situation dire enough to seek out this box. I pray that is not the case, but I have always believed in preparing for the worst. The world can be a dangerous place, filled with predators who prey on the good and the trusting. I have spent my life building a fortress to protect our family, a legacy that goes beyond the home you grew up in. These properties, this wealth, it is all for you. I kept it secret not out of a desire to deceive, but out of a need to protect. Money can attract the wrong kind of people, the kind of people who see love not as a gift, but as an opportunity. I wanted you to build a life on your own terms, to find a love that was true and not transactional. But if that love should ever fail you, if someone should ever try to take what is rightfully yours, then this is your armor. This is your weapon. Use it wisely. Live a good life. And know that I am, and always will be, proud of you. All my love and Dad. I read the letter twice, then a third time. The tears I've held back for so long finally streaming down my face. They are not tears of grief, but of gratitude, of overwhelming, heart-wrenching love. He wasn't a liar. He was a protector. He saw the darkness in the world, the kind of darkness that Sarah and Jake brought into my life, and he built a firewall to keep it at bay. 8 months later, I'm standing on the balcony of my new downtown loft. The city lights spread out before me like a carpet of scattered diamonds. The house I shared with Sarah is sold, its memories exorcised. The divorce, which was supposed to bankrupt me, instead became the catalyst for a new life I never could have imagined. My father's hidden empire, a portfolio worth over $12 million, is now mine. Sarah's parting shot, the one meant to destroy my last remaining pillar of faith, had the opposite effect. It led me to the truth. It led me to a legacy of love and protection that transcended the grave. She thought she was leaving me my past, a broken history of lies and betrayal. Instead, she inadvertently handed me my future. I take a sip of my whiskey, the smooth, aged liquor, a welcome warmth in the cool night air. The pain of Sarah's betrayal is still there, a faint silvery scar on my soul. But it no longer defines me. It's just a part of my story, the dark, violent chapter that had to end for a new one to begin. Some betrayals don't just end marriages. They don't just break hearts. Sometimes they begin fortunes,